We're also coming off one of the best episodes of Raw in years. First, let's talk about The Rock, who was not scheduled to appear in Chicago on Monday, but there he was, interrupting Cody Rhodes at the start of the show. He whispered something into his ear, never said a word otherwise, he just walked out. And at the end of the show, Seth Rollins told Jey Uso before he went out for his match with Shinsuke Nakamura, he goes, something doesn't feel right here. Cody and I, we got your back. Turns out, Seth's instinct was correct. Maybe not his instinct for fashion, but his instinct was correct. Jimmy Uso and Solo Sikoa, they came out of the crowd. But here come Cody and Seth to fight them off. Cody fought him all the way to the back until The Rock ambushed him. Now, Seth was laid out by Drew McIntyre, who would come out. But last we saw Jey Uso, he was just fine. So I don't know why he left Cody to die, but he did. And The Rock beat this boy's ass all over the backstage area, out into the parking lot, in the pouring rain, which was a great visual. They got their product placement with the Wheatley vodka advertisement plastered all over Cody's tour bus. Cody's got a big vodka sponsorship for them now. Another change of the Endeavor era, where their top babyface has a vodka sponsorship. I like it. So on one of the WWE trucks in the background, as Rock is kicking his ass, the truck has John Cena and Stone Cold Steve Austin on it. And I didn't notice it at first, but a lot of you did. Was it merely a coincidence, or was it strategically placed there? Because John Cena is absolutely going to have a role at WrestleMania. He has been teasing it way too much in recent interviews for him not to be at WrestleMania. So I am certain he will be there. The last time we saw him, he was demolished. He was beaten by Solo Sikoa. So he's got beef with the Bloodline. It would make sense for him to show up during that main event on night 2, assuming it ends up being Bloodline rules. And maybe he fights off Solo, right? That kind of neutralizes Solo Sikoa. And I am hoping that we get a Stone Cold cameo too. I don't think that was a coincidence at all. I think it is foreshadowing for next weekend. You know, The Rock brought back his Hollywood theme. Now just imagine, as Cody is being beaten down by the Bloodline, The Rock on night 2 is there, right? During the title match, he's beating down Cody. And the glass shatters and out walks Stone Cold to his old Disturbed theme. Goosebumps. You know, The Rock walks out every week, right? They show his arm. You see the goosebumps on his arm? Goosebumps. That's what it would be. One last stunner for The Rock. Can he oversell it, though, the way that he used to? Can he get his body up and over? Because he's a lot bigger than he used to be. The last stunner that he took from Steve Austin was over 20 years ago, and he was a lot lighter than he is today, and a lot younger. So I don't know. I don't know about that, but I would love to see it. But like I've been saying, if it's Bloodline rules on night 2, it's going to be overbooked to all hell. You're going to have interference. You're going to have all kinds of shenanigans. If it's done right, it can be a lot of fun. This could be an all-timer for a main event. I am pulling for a Stone Cold cameo. Why? Why not? Because it's the 40th WrestleMania, and nobody knows The Rock better than he does. And he doesn't like The Rock coming out every week and waving his dick around. He wants it to be a fair fight. That's why. That's all the explanation you need. So Cody ended up blading in this angle. We got blood in the closing segment of the show. Rock wiped Cody's blood on his white weight belt that said Mama Rhodes on it. He has promised to hand Mama Rhodes that belt with her son's blood on it at WrestleMania. After they went off the air, they kept the cameras rolling, and Rock posted video of it to his Instagram on Friday, showing him whipping Cody with the belt, ranting about how the show doesn't end just because they went off the air. Fuck that, he said. Your script? Fuck that. Format, Rock. Say format. I hate hearing the word script on a wrestling show. It dredges up too many bad memories of Vince Russo WCW booking. But this was a heavy angle. A lot heavier than they had done on Raw in a very long time. Now, blading was banned by Vince McMahon. And I don't necessarily disagree with him on that, at least as far as, toning down the practice. Not outright banning it, but toning it down. I don't have an issue with that. I think blood in select situations is perfectly fine. It can be very impactful. And it's a hell of a lot safer than what Brock Lesnar did when he wrestled Cody last year. That first match they had at Backlash, and he opened himself up hard way, rammed his head into the exposed turnbuckle. Had a big gash right in the middle of his forehead, right between his eyes. And the blood started pouring out. He did the same thing against Roman Reigns the first time they fought at WrestleMania. He ran himself headfirst into the ring post and he busted himself open. That is incredibly stupid. So in certain situations, it's fine. It adds to the drama. It doesn't mean that blading is back. They're going to be slicing and dicing every single week. What do you think this is? Dynamite? No, they're not doing that. But it just means that The Rock wanted blood in his angle. And what The Rock wants, The Rock gets. The Rock wanted to wrestle Roman Reigns this year, saw the backlash online, and decided, you know what, he's going to go heel. Saved the match with Roman for next year. Him going heel was the best thing that could have happened because it made for some very entertaining television in the build-up to WrestleMania. Now, I think that's come at the expense of Roman Reigns and his story with Cody, but getting heel Rock on TV has been a lot better than All-American Hero Rock, who comes out and leads the crowd in some lame chants. That's what he did in September. That's what he did in January when he came out with Jinder Mahal. I don't want to see that Rock on the road to WrestleMania. If I'm going to see Rock on the road to WrestleMania, this is the version of The Rock that I would prefer to see. And also, you look at the schedule that Roman Reigns has kept up. And if Roman Reigns is going to maintain his current schedule and is rarely going to be on the television show, because it truly does feel like Rock has been on the show more than Roman. We had Rock come out a few weeks ago. He did a little Rock concert, right? I don't think Roman was there. Rock came out as a surprise on Monday night. The whole bloodline was there. Everybody except Roman Reigns. So I feel like Rock has actually physically been a presence on this show more than Roman has. So at least he's been present for the build-up to WrestleMania. And now the both of them are going to be on Raw tomorrow night here in Brooklyn. But with Rock going heel, instead of him just coming back for one last match against Roman, they have set up two big money matches for him now. One with Cody, and I'm still skeptical it's going to happen, but certainly the way things have been going, it would lead you to believe that at some point we're going to have Rock and Cody, and then eventually one with Roman, probably next year at WrestleMania. So this worked out better than they could have imagined. Yeah, my buddy texted me on Friday. He asked me, is The Rock going to be on SmackDown tonight? I said no. He'll be on Raw this Monday. He's been paying more attention to the shows. He's telling me even people he works with have been texting him about the shows. And that's just one example. That's just one example for me. I'm sure there's a lot of that going on. They have obviously tapped into something here. Monday was their 11th consecutive sellout. Can they sustain this beyond WrestleMania? I don't know. I'm sure not that business is going to suddenly collapse, but all these sellouts and everything, can they sustain it beyond Philadelphia? That remains to be seen. But between the blood and all of the profanity, not only with Rock, but even in the CM Punk segment, that show on Monday had more of an attitude feel to it than any other Raw in almost 2 decades. There was a lot of good and a lot of bad stuff that came with the Attitude Era. The blood and the profanity, if it makes sense to do it, I think they're a welcome change. Make the show a little more adult, I don't have an issue with that. It's a welcome change. You don't just do it, though, for the sake of doing it. So that's the key. If it makes sense to do it, then do it. Don't just do it because you can. I don't need to see Candice LeRae coming out tomorrow and calling Maxine Dupree a bunch of 4-letter words just because. But with Rock and Cody, and with Punk and McIntyre and Rollins, why I also bring up Attitude, one of the things that I loved about the early part of that era, especially which I think is rooted all the way back to the end of 96, beginning of 97, is that you had, I'd say, 4 or 5 guys on top, like the top names in the company, who genuinely felt like they hated each other. They all had attitudes, they were all pissed off at all times, and it all centered around the WWF title. Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels and Steve Austin and Sid and The Undertaker. You want to throw Vader in there maybe? I've wanted the product to get back to that for a long time, just to bring back that feeling. And that's what it feels like now. Not with the entire product, but at least with what's going on top. That's what's been missing from the product for so long. Now, my only issue with the angle is that at no point during that beatdown, that very lengthy beatdown, did Cody even try to get a shot off on The Rock? And I had a couple of people say, well, he got hit in the head with a trash can. Well, so what? That's every Extreme Rules match. Who gives a shit? Like, we haven't seen that before. You didn't hit him in the head with a wrench. That's not an excuse. He never even took a swing at the guy. I'm not saying that they had to have a pull-apart brawl. They're probably saving that for TV tomorrow night. But he never even took a swing at the guy. He just sold and sold and sold and cried and this whole time without fighting back. Even a meek little swing, trying to fight back. Nothing. Now he's got to come out guns blazing in Brooklyn tomorrow. Rock and Roman, they're both on the show, and the entire first hour, they said there's going to be airing commercial-free, which probably means a very long Bloodline segment to open the show, so they don't have to worry about commercials. We will. You and I will. Anybody who's not in the building is going to have to worry about that in the second and third hour. We usually get an onslaught of them. There's usually a reckoning when it comes to these shows with the commercial-free first hour. They make you pay for it on the back end. But we'll see how Rock looks in the ring at WrestleMania. It's been a while since he's had a match. If he looks even halfway decent, they need to be thinking about a SummerSlam match with him and Cody Rhodes. Everything that they have been doing on TV in the build to WrestleMania, that angle last Monday, one thing they have done is gotten me hyped to see a match that isn't even happening next weekend. I'm talking a singles match. They got me hyped up for Rock against Cody and Punk against McIntyre and Punk against Rollins, none of which are actually taking place at WrestleMania. Now, WrestleMania is already either sold out or mostly sold out, so they have at least 3 matches now that they can make money with down the road. They also had Paul Heyman on SmackDown claim that the attack on Cody on Monday was ordered by the Tribal Chief, which is going to be an important line to remember because I think it's going to play into this upcoming power struggle within the Bloodline coming out of WrestleMania. If The Rock is the final boss, then he takes orders from no one. That includes someone in his own family who technically is beneath him. So that is going to cause problems soon.